Hello and welcome to Euphoria. In this video I'll be continuing my series on the design and build of a Lego modular building. This is going to be the town hall for my Lego city and have an important place right on the main square in the centre of the city. You can see all about the design of this MOC in the previous episodes in this series, where I walk through the design process and some of the choices made during the design. Today I'll be continuing the build of this MOC and carry straight on from the previous episode in which I built the first or upper floor of the building. In this video I'm going to build the second or top floor of the building and the roof for each of the two wing sections. This is quite a large structure, so each floor level is built separately, and even within a floor there are separate sections. We've already built the foundation and semi-basement level, the ground or main floor level, and the first or upper floor, which have a main section as one build with the wings on each side built as separate sections. Today we're going to build the top floor of the building, but there aren't any wing sections at this level of the building, so I'll be building the roofs for the two wing sections that go on either side of the main section of the building. The roof of the main section of the building and the clock on the top will be built later. We're going to start with the main section again, and this starts the same way as the other levels by making the floor plate. This is made of 2 layers of white plates in various combinations to make the slightly complicated outline of this level of the building. Like the other floors, there's a bit at the back to allow for the stairwell at the back of the building. On this level of the building, the main windows in the front and back elevations are sort of a continuation of the windows on the floor below, so the floor plate is inset here to allow for that. I'll build up the windows themselves in a minute. I did actually change the construction of the floor plate slightly during the build because I felt that the way I designed it was going to be a bit weak. I'm adding a tiled floor for the little washroom, the same as the one on the floor below, and I'll add the fixtures into this little room in a minute. Now, once again, we can make a start on building the walls onto the floor plate that I've just built. We'll add the first couple of layers of the walls in medium nougat bricks again, using those masonry profile bricks, the same as the ones in the rest of the building. Unfortunately, I have to say goodbye to the prototype build that I made to try some of the build out during the design process, as I need some of these parts to complete the model. There are some internal walls similar to the ones on the floor below, although there will be glass panels rather than solid walls between the central area and the rooms on either side. This is the top floor of the building, and the stairs come up the stairwell and access this floor here. And because there are no stairs going further up, we need to add a banister here to prevent people falling down into the stairwell. The walls at the sides here are external walls, although the roof for the wing sections will fit next to part of them on the outside. Now, before the walls get too high, I'm going to install the fixtures and furniture for this section of the building. On this level, there's just a room at each side of the building and a kind of lobby area in the centre. The little washroom here is the same as the one on the floor below, with just a WC and a hand basin, and it's accessed through a door from the central area. I've decided to tile this floor with the same kind of floorboard effect that we put in the reception area on the ground floor, using mostly medium nougat 1 by something tiles. Of course, we need to provide some studs to anchor the furniture and fixtures. On the right hand side of this floor is a meeting room, and we can use some of the furniture from the office set, which also had a small meeting room. Although, as I wanted to use the black chairs from that set in the council chamber, I've put some yellow meeting room chairs in here instead. There will be a glass internal partition here to separate the meeting room from the lobby, with a door in it, of course. The central area is mostly circulation space to provide access to the stairwell at the back, the meeting rooms on both sides, and the washroom. So there isn't room for much furniture in here, but we could make this into an informal relaxation area. So in here we can put a sofa, which also comes from the office set, and another coffee machine to keep people awake during all those important meetings. Now, the left hand side of the building here is going to be the large meeting room or council chamber. Even though this room is about 14 studs square, there isn't room for a kind of top bench and lots of chairs such as you might find in a courtroom or larger council chamber. So we're going to have a large conference table in the room and several chairs around it. There'll be an internal partition between this council chamber and the lobby or foyer outside it, and for that we'll put some door frames containing glass panels and a door across here. This section of the build is rather simpler than the ones we built before, so that's the fittings and furniture for this section of the build finished. Now we'll continue building the walls and windows. The external walls continue with medium nougat masonry profile bricks. And the internal walls follow the same colour scheme as the lower floors, with blue for the bottom half and tan for the top half. The windows on this floor are similar to the windows on the floor below, but they're framed with arches at the top, which gives a distinctive look to the facade of the building. At the front of the building there's also a large window finished off with an arch. For the stairwell at the back, I'm using more of those larger window frames with 2 glazing bars, which reduces the number of small frames and panes that I need. The internal partitions are mostly glass panels to separate the meeting rooms from the central area, although I do need to put the door in the right way round. An internal arch provides additional strength to the build by connecting the 2 sides of the building. The last row of bricks in the walls is a row of snot bricks, which will be used to add the frieze all round the top of the walls. This is a bit fiddly, as it's made of lots of cheese slopes and round plates, but eventually it makes a frieze similar to the one used at the top of the walls of the wing sections lower down. I showed those in the previous episode. This is the top level of the building, so the roof will fit on top, and there's a small gable end in the centre, at the front and at the back, to support the central part of the roof. I'm putting a decorative feature in the gable ends, which is made out of a special Technic turntable piece and some bricks with studs on the side. This isn't strictly necessary, of course, and during the design we looked at different options for this feature, but I decided to go for this idea, although I did play with this arrangement as an alternative option. If you like this one instead, then please let me know in the comments below. The walls are finished off with a plate and tiling layer, which will allow the addition and removal of the roof, which will finally go on the top of this top floor. And lastly, for this section, I can fit the downpipes on the outside. So that's this main or central section of this level of the building finished, and I can move on now to the roof sections for the 2 wings on either side. Okay, let's build the roof for the wings. I built the 2 wing sections of the building in the previous episode. They fit on each side of the first floor main section of the building. Each wing has its own roof, which fits on the top of the wing section. The wing sections are not as high as the central section of the building because they don't have a second floor level. So their roofs sit alongside the second floor level of the main section of the building. The roof sections for the two wings are the same, except that they are mirror builds of each other. The build starts with a kind of floor plate which acts as the ceiling for the wing section below. Unlike my normal floor plates, the layer of plates that holds it together is on top of the larger plates. I'm fitting black guttering round the edge of the roof using these plates with a rail. The gutters are designed to lead rainwater from the roof into the downpipes that are on the sides of the building. The roof itself is made of 45-degree slope bricks, and there's a small dormer window just to provide a little bit of natural light into what is essentially an attic space. These roof sections don't need much internal support as they're quite small, but there's a little bit of support for the roof at this side. To avoid the roof being too high, there's a bit of flat roof at the top, and that's finished off with these sort of railings and finials at the corners. The roof for the right-hand wing is made in exactly the same way as a mirror image of the left-hand wing. So now let's see if this level of the building fits properly onto the rest of the building that I built previously. The second floor section clips onto the top of the main first floor section. It's the same width and depth, so it should fit the same all the way round. And the windows in the front and back give the effect of being one large window, even though they span 2 floors of the building. The stairwell at the back continues the stairs up from the first floor to provide access to the second floor. The roofs of the wings just fit onto the tops of the wing sections like this. The attic space in the roofs on either side can be accessed through these little doors in the end walls of the main section of the building, although you may need to move one of the chairs to open them completely. In the previous episode, I mentioned about this overhang at the sides, which breaks one of the rules of modular buildings. I'm doing that deliberately because I wanted this nice look to the roof, and I can get away with it because of the siting of this building. but if I wanted to conform properly to the rules, then the roof of the wings would need to be made one stud smaller so that they don't have this overhang. So that's all 3 sections of this level of the building complete. I'll be assembling all these sections into a complete building at the end of the build. Again, I'm pleased that so far this part of the build has gone pretty much according to the design. This is quite a large MOC, and although I'm getting near to the end, I still have to build the main roof and the clock and carillon on the top. So I'll break here and continue the build of this MOC in the next episode of this series. I hope you enjoyed watching this part of the build of this MOC. Let me know what you think about the decorative elements at the top of the gable ends. Thanks for your interaction with the channel, and if you have any comments or questions, just let me know in the comments section below. So join me in the next episode, in which I'll be building the roof and will be very nearly finished. Don't forget to hit the like button and the bell button to be notified of new videos, and subscribe to the channel to see more about my MOCs, other builds and ideas, and updates on my LEGO City.